A few weeks ago, I had the very pleasure to sit down and talk to my great friend, colleague, and legend of a designer, Minh Pham, on the topic of promoting your work as a designer. We touched on the passion about transforming your career, development, and how important it is to constantly share your work. And finally, we share our take on the Dribbble community, what responsibilities we have to make things work, and how we also motivate conceptual work. So here is a recap of just that interview. Hey Min, how are you doing?
Yeah, I am totally fine. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for joining me here. This is my very first YouTube interview for my channel, so really appreciate that you'll be a part of this.
My pleasure. This is exciting stuff, man.
That's awesome. So just want to check how you're doing in San Francisco. I know you're originally from Sweden, but now you're based in the States. So how are things going there?
Yeah, San Francisco is all good. But yeah, as you said, I'm from Sweden. Short intro would be a designer from Sweden, originally from a small town with 2,000 people.
Wow.
And then after 23 years there, I decided to finally move away to my capital, Stockholm, spend a year there, and then I took another big step into the US. And that was just a big journey on its own of applying for visas and everything that comes into the job market. But also amazing opportunity to just challenge myself to get in there. And now I've been here for a couple of years at Fantasy with you. And yeah, it's just in general very passionate for design and creating these new exciting ideas in ways we haven't seen before. And yeah, super excited to join you.
Wow, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing with us. So I have just heard a great news that Masterclass, which is a fantasy project that you were the lead visual designer, has won the Webby Awards. So congratulations.
Thank you. That's exciting indeed. It was great news we got here for a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Could you share a little bit more information about this project? What is it about? How did you guys come up with all of that great ideas, and what was the challenge you had to face while doing this project?
Yeah, totally. So just the background is that Masterclass is an app where you learn about any topic in the world, really, ranging from sports, culinary arts, cooking, space exploration even. It's very accurate now with the new rockets going up in space. And any topic really you can come up with. And we created this experience with the Masterclass team where we innovated their apps they had at the moment. And I think what made it really successful is the way we set up our team. So we became a part of their team on site. So we actually went there 2 to 3 days a week, and we're sitting closely and working with their existing team and just iterating on ideas and different approaches. And we had several beta apps on our phones to test at any time. And it was just such a great collaboration. So it's always two parts when it comes to something going live. And that was a good proof of that. The challenge is always, I believe, to come up with something that is unique, but also very usable. So in our case, our strong principle was to not make what everyone else is doing, at the same time deliver something that is very, very unique to Masterclass. So we believe that was the content. So it takes half a year to a year to produce one class only. And that's something that no one else can really do in that quality. So we use that to build that up front, and instead of having like these regular, for example, Netflix, they have showcased cover photos. They're very small and they are like among many others, and you scroll through like a carousel list view, and instead we do this impressive grid view where you swipe through in any directions and you tap into one and you get that progressive load of content, and the video in the background very seamless. And we tried to communicate with as little words as possible to just give you the content and give that sneak peek before you even buy, before you sign up, which is always a hassle. And yeah, I think that's just a beautiful part of it.
Yeah, that is absolutely stunning. So besides fantasy project, I know you're also working on some side project, some personal stuff, and you are being very active on Instagram recently. and been sharing a lot of great tip and trick for design inspiration, productivity. So could you share a little bit more about what you are up to?
For me, it's always like I've always had these like active projects on the side of my day-to-day work. Which could be it could burn you out eventually, but then there's a lot of passion that goes in this. So you innovate on different ideas and concepts you get. You take everything from the world, and you see something cool. You see something that maybe not that cool, and you want to make something different. You want to make it yours, and you want to just put it out there for people to react on, to be inspired by. And recently I've been doing a rant of like Formula One experiences, a lot of nice experiences when it comes to like orientation of the phone, to maybe have a landscape instead of portrait. So I did some cool motion and design of that, of how you can view the races in a more engaging way. Most recently I also explored some concepts around the bike sharing, how you can find your bike easily with augmented reality. And then a few weeks ago I did with the SpaceX launch, I also made a launch from home concept where you can augment it in your living room. It's just the ideas all over the place, but that's the exciting part, that it's just so many people that can like this and do something on their own, and that's the entire goal of it.
That is absolutely exciting. Can't wait to see what you're going to come up with in the near future. So the topic today that I would like to discuss is promoting your work efficiently. So as you know, that there are many kind of platform nowadays that you can use to promoting your work, like Instagram, Dribbles, Behance, even LinkedIn. So what do you choose? What tool that you prefer when it comes to posting your work and get recognition, and why?
So I think no platform is right or wrong. I think it depends on what kind of niche you're in, or where you have your audience. I think all of us have our core audience, and that's the most logical way to start for. But in general, I'm cross-posting across all my social media profiles, really. I'm less and more active on some of them. Behance is one of them that I really never started from the beginning. That's something I can maybe cross-post to. But I'm trying to focus mostly on Instagram nowadays. It allowed me to give that sort of different content pieces with the stories, with the IGTV and the post and the video and carousels and stuff. So I think, and that's where I share most of my process and the work in progress stuff, other than the work itself. So, and then also like the website is something many people ask about. Do you need a website? Right? And I believe, no, you don't need a website to be a designer and be shown in the world. It's, however, very powerful to have your own place where you can link all these social media platforms to one source. And then you can, like, that's a popular thing that's going to come up, that you can own that traffic on your own. Because when you think about it, Instagram is stealing all your traffic inbounds, and you can't control everything of that. On your website, you can do anything you want with anyone that lands on your site. So that's something I've always been trying to do, but that's also, of course, hard to maintain, since Instagram is so easy to just post and go.
And you know, one of the things that designers usually struggle with while building out the portfolio is that most of our best work are under NDA, which are confidential, cannot share to the public. So what do you do to keep your portfolio rich and updated while you have to keep most of your private work in private?
That's a great part. This is always the struggle when you work at a company or with a project that have these strict terms, which is at some part is totally understandable, and that's how it works. And but I think the powerful thing you can do here is to basically do your own things on the side. As I mentioned earlier, it's always something that you can take your own take on, and create something from your point of view, and put it out there. When it comes to, it could be your favorite redesign of your app, it could be an interesting concept from nothing. Or it can just be more comments, articles, doing videos just like this one, talking to people, sharing your thoughts and ideas, and just trying to be active and show that you have something to add, because you have more to add than you think. And you can also inspire more than you ever can imagine. So I think just believe in yourself and do whatever you can do, because that's something everyone want to hear about.
Totally agree. Seeing all of that concept and new stuff keep me all inspiring every day. Because if no one posts anything or no one do anything because of the NDA, then nothing more to learn and to keep inspiring. And so that's great. So when it comes to concept and new idea that just came out randomly in the brain, I noticed there's like things in Dribbble, and I would say Dribbble is one of the largest communities for designers nowadays. And then some people might say that a lot of work there are just like fake work, that they just copy each other, or they're just doing like whatever design that they can think of, and it's like there's no value, like no actual product design value that you can learn from it, just like fancy idea and stuff. So that it's like a waste of time. So what is your take on this? What do you think?
This is a sensitive topic. This is a very big and important topic,
like people
really.
Say, but
yeah,
this is interesting topic.
It is. I mean, I both like it and dislike it very much. It's a very open platform nowadays. When a lot of people have invites, it's very exclusive in the back of the time. But nowadays, a lot of people is there, and you can basically create whatever you want. I think we have some sort of responsibility to call out whenever we do something conceptual and wild thinking without the reasoning behind it. I'm a person of that too. I love doing this kind of work, but I'm trying to be very clear. This is a concept. This is very conceptual. Stating it in the post and telling the community that this is not something I believe in. This is how we should do it. And I think some people are missing that point. Some people are claiming that this is how you do an app, and this is how a website you scroll from any direction ever. And then like the younger generation, or even any person in the industry, is going to believe that this is the way we should do it. And then we build this false impression of what user experience is, and we do whatever we think. And that's kind of a wild west, I believe. And I think you can do either way, but it just has to be stated. That's my opinion. What do you think about this?
So my opinion is that the beauty of these platforms and the internet is you have the freedom to do whatever you want. There's no boundary, there's no restriction, there's no client there to tell you what to do. You can also post real product or real project, that's amazing, but there's no limitation for ideas, like concept, whatever happening in your brain, something that you want to try, right? Some experiments that could inspire others. And in some cases, some random idea could be a real idea for someone else, for a real project, who knows? So I think you should use these tools at its best and use it for your own benefit, either that to build a fancy portfolio or to showcase a real product. It's all yours. People is going to look at it and see that who you are, and you're going to attract the same energy to your portfolio or your career. And by the way, I just want to share the story of how I started in fantasy. So a few years ago, David Martin, who is the founder of Fantasy, just sent me an email to ask me if I want to do some freelance work. And at the time, I was just nothing on Dribbble. Like my profile only have like maybe 500 followers, so it's really small. And I didn't know why that he found me and decided to reach out to me. So I asked him a few years ago when we had a chance to meet in retreat, and he told me that the reason why that he reached out to me is he saw just one shot, and then there were just little details in the motion that I did. And he told me that attention to the details speak to him, and he saw that kind of potential, and that's why he decided to reach out to me. So what I learned from it is that sometimes just that little things can change your whole career, and all you have to do is just keep practicing, keep pushing yourself, and just some days you gotta get that same energy that's gonna attract back to you. So yeah, that's a very inspiring moment for me.
That's a great story.
Yeah,
Love it. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
That's I totally love that kind of mindset that we have for designers. Like, you don't need to be like a huge background or anything.
Yeah.
All he cares is what he can do now and in the future. So that's great.
Yeah. But that's also hard, you know. It feels like you need to have that 400 shots on your profile. Everything has to be perfect and amazing.
Yeah.
I'm one of those. I want to do even more all the time. It's never done. It's never perfect.
Yeah, it's never.
But that's kind of the beauty of it. We have to just accept that we can never do more than we can do right now.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So, how is promoting your work affect your career? Is there any moment that you feel like, oh, you got that opportunity because you get your work out there instead of keeping for yourself?
Yes, I mean, so it can definitely be very time consuming. It can also have a lot of anxiety when it comes to performing and putting it out there, because you, as I mentioned, you always want to make something better of what it is right now. And that will maybe lead to keeping it in the dark. And that's going to be very negative, because it will never be shown to the world. And I think that's something all of us are struggling, that we can always share more than we do right now. So that's something I'm trying to do. And it's going to inspire someone. And even if it's just 4 people, they're going to be more 4 people than nobody. And it's easy to get stuck in the number and the likes and the comments and sharing all those kind of numbers. That doesn't really mean that much. It's just more anxiety to you. So I think I'm trying to really focus on the individual level, that I'm going to inspire you men today. I'm going to have a talk with you. This is going to be a nice time with us, but I believe a lot of people are going to see this as well. And that's just going to be even more fantastic. But I think if we would just feel like, oh, we would never get 4 million views on this one, so let's not do it, then we would never even inspire ourselves. So, but I mean, that's easier said than done. But I think do it for yourself to feel that you get something out of it. Practice your skills. Think about how you work, how you present your work. That's going to be very useful for any job you have. And then also share it, and then people can take help from that.